Welcome to KIRSTIcast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Hi, I'm Kirsti Manna, and welcome to KIRSTIcast. Thanks so much for being here today. Imagine that you just got to town, and you don't know a soul. You might not know it, but you're probably a true networker at heart if you have already scoped out the best places to hang out. Follow 30 people on Instagram that you've never actually met, who live in your current metropolis, and you've already discovered but have not yet visited the 5 top places to get coffee. But are you really networking or just networking with your phone? Well, in my opinion, the only way to really network is to leave your house, get out in the world, and meet people. Yes, people. Networking just means connecting with others and growing mutually beneficial relationships. So if you're a creative living in Nashville, for example, the name of the game is networking. Nashville loves to network, and it's one of the most easy places I've ever been to meet people. If you're trying to build a career or even just want to get to know some other people, here are some ways you can do that. Seek out opportunities, because in every town there are these things called meetups, and that could be a great way to start making relationships. Start with who you know. It's a small world. You might have a college roommate who has a friend, and you're in your new town, and you could maybe get them to make an introduction. Get curious about other people. Networking isn't just about what it can do for you, but it can help you build confidence on how to talk to others. And if you're really nervous about thinking on your feet, think of a few questions ahead of time that you might want to ask somebody that you're just meeting. What are things about your own life you would love to share with people? Well, then just turn that around and make it a question when you're meeting somebody new. Think about how you can strengthen your relationship with the people you're meeting and focus on making a great first impression if you're meeting them for the very first time. Or if you know the person already, find other ways to connect with them in the future. Hope those tips help. Stick around for the Shero Spotlight. Stay tuned for the Shero Spotlight. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Shero Spotlight. Well, I'm really excited to have my guest today, somebody I've known for a really long time. And while we were waiting to start this interview, some new interesting tips have been revealed to me. She's an old friend, and I'm really glad you're going to get to hear our interview together today. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So she's a top 40 Billboard songwriter. She's a general manager of Nashville Cool Publishing and the founder and CEO of Discover Sooner, which is a professional developmental company for songwriters. As a song plugger, and that's a hard job, she's had cuts on Charles Esten, who was Deacon for crying out loud on Nashville. I loved him. Blake Shelton, my favorite, and Reba McEntire, just to name a few. As a songwriter, she has achieved top 40 slots on Billboard with Dallas Remington and her song Princess. I love that title. And Hanging Moons by Cody Clayton Eagle, who reached over 1 million Spotify streams in 2022. That takes a lot of work, and you have to feel a great song, right? In 2020, she launched Discover Sooner with the mission to open doors for the next generation of songwriters and artists. And through innovative programs like Publisher-Writer Experience, many songwriters now have real relationships with major music publishers at Warner Chappell, Anthem, BMG, Black River, Liz Rose. Wow, that's impressive. Please welcome to the show, Nancy Deckant.
Hey, Kirsti.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, so good to be here today.
I know. I'm so glad that you're here. We were really yucking it up before the interview started.
Yes.
We were talking about you writing with your grandkids. That's pretty cool.
That's very exciting. They're 8, and we are going to put out an EP in January or February, early quarter 1 of 2023. It's going to be a lot. It's already a lot of fun, and I'm excited.
That's really cool, and what a great way to interact with those kids. They're so cute. Your little granddaughter looks just like you.
I hear that a lot.
She's a little mini you.
She is amazing, and she is a natural-born cheerleader.
Oh,
I'm not kidding. I had to really retool my brain on what I thought of, cheerleaders from high school from way back.
Yeah.
It's like she's just born to cheer.
Oh,
it's so much fun.
That's so cute.
And Aiden is fantastic at soccer, and who knows what he's going to do. And he's best at Fortnite. He's a video gamer.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about video games, but I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still am trying to master Pac-Man. And I only play it once a year, so how good am I going to get? Right?
Not too good. Kirsty?
It's not going to happen. So we first met when you came to one of my Songwriter Girl workshops in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. And I think it was about 2010.
Yeah.
And it was so fantastic. And it was just a great, basics. Here's how you do it. Here's co-writers. Here's how we do production.
Yeah.
You and Bill were there. And it was wonderful. I was living in Pittsburgh at that time, and a bunch of us kind of girls drove up to Youngstown, Boardman, just to see you. And you were one of the first music professionals that I ever met.
Oh, wow.
Right. I knew Bob Della Posta and Steve Block and you.
Oh, that's great.
So
well, I'm in good company with those people.
Yeah.
So what was really the thing that fueled your passion to be a songwriter? Because you were also an artist. You were painting and...
Yeah, visual artist.
Yeah.
And in 2018, I got laid off from 2008, I got laid off from my job at Union Switch and Signal. I was an engineer there, and I got a job. I prayed this prayer: "Dear Lord Jesus, please help me move away from this dreadfully boring job." And 3 days later, I got laid off. And I was like, that's very fast working, you Jesus.
Oh, that's cool.
But my husband and George and I decided that we were going to downsize and just be visual, artists. And he's a musician. And we were in a band together. And, I was already the NSAI coordinator for the Pittsburgh group. And, for me, it just gave me more time to actually write. We figured out how to financially do this.
Yeah.
And then we just started to, focus on it. And, and my songwriting just got better and better because of NSAI.
And you had so much time to work.
I did.
I
did, and it was awesome. And I actually had my visual art business going really good. And then in 2013, I was working on booking the band, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I need to be at the creation point. And I need to go to Nashville. Like, honey, let's go to Nashville. And he's like, not so much,
I don't know if I want to do that.
So I started my back and forth phase.
Right.
And a lot of us who come to Nashville have a back and forth phase to try to figure out if we want to be here or not. Yeah. But I was like, all in. I mean, I felt the greatest sense of belonging I've ever felt being here and writing. And I just couldn't, I couldn't even do art anymore. All I wanted to do was write songs and do this. So. Well,
and I think that's really good advice. I always used to say at Songwriter Girl Camp, if you think you want to move to Nashville, people come to Nashville and they have this love affair with Nashville the first few times. And it's you're on a vacation in a sense, right? So you need to come here for a while and network and, meet people and see if it's really a fit for you. And this episode is called Network because when I think about great networkers, you're in the top 5. Talk a little bit about, how you discovered, a great way to network or great ways to network. What are some things you did?
Well, you first come to Nashville and everyone tells you should co-write. And so you make that your mission. And you just meet other songwriters by going to writers' rounds.
Right.
That's about it there. And but actually, after I moved here, one of my friends from the NSAI group came down and said, I used to live in Nashville, and I'm telling you, you have the personality of a song plugger.
And you're like, okay, what's that?
And he said, and I liked one of his songs, and he said, I'm going to pay you to plug my song. And I was like, wait.
Wow, that was serendipitous.
I'm not going to pay you very much, Nancy. But I'm like, okay, wait, I don't know that many people. He says, you will meet people. Mm-hmm. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that was like the CMA Fest was, just a month or two after that. And I met a hit songwriter, and he says, well, what do you do? I says, well, I'm a song plugger. And he goes, great, I need a song plugger. And I'm like, wait. I don't know that many people. And he says, I don't care. I can get you into every room in this town.
Wow. So it was like reverse engineering there. Well, and the other thing too is, that you know this about songwriters. It's like if you tell somebody you're a songwriter, or song plugger rather, or you tell them you believe in their music, they're like, will you help me?
Right.
Because songwriters need help.
Right. And
getting their music out.
Really, and I didn't really come to Nashville to do song plugging or anything like that in the business, but I was thinking, well, somebody in this group has to get the music around,
right?
Or we're never going anywhere, right? Well,
yeah.
We're all writing. Someone needs to do this, and the group of writers that I was in, and so I just and what I found out was like. I would go to events, and there would be like Buddy Cannon at the taco table, right, at some event.
And
right?
tell our listeners what Buddy Cannon
is.
Some of his accolades.
He used to be, Kenny Chesney's producer, right? And so I waited till he walked out the door because I didn't want to bother him at the event, and I follow him out the door, and I go, Buddy Cannon, hi, I'm Nancy, and I do song plugging for, so-and-so, and can I drop a CD off at your office? And he said, no, here's my email. Just, take this down, or here's my telephone number. Take this down and call my office in the morning for my email, and just send me songs anytime you like. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in business, right? This is how you do it, right?
I love it.
So that's how I got started doing song plugging. And then when you're a song plugger, people go like, oh, you need to hire me. You need to sign me. Be my publisher.
Right.
And what I learned is that's a lot easier to do if you have a whole lot of money behind you.
Yeah.
But it was all about networking and getting the right people in my life. And so I just started going to events, and there was plenty of time to do song plugging on top of writing songs.
Right.
I really hadn't planned it, but even all that. So it was about, okay, if you're looking to network, it's just the old thing that everyone always said, you must be present to win.
Exactly.
I could never have done this in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I could never go to the rooftop on Warner Music. They have a
party in the summer, yeah.
Right, all summer long, and BMI has parties all summer long on their rooftop.
Right.
And you have to be stealthy. I mean, it's almost like they're stealthy. You have to figure out when they're doing it.
Right.
And then you just go to everything you can and follow Shero Blackman around, who's a great song plugger, and do what he does, and just go to Hot Dog Day, the beloved Hot Dog Day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a community, even though it's not the same as it used to be. It's the one that we have right now.
Yeah.
And be nice and talk to people and just be respectful of people's times, and and only send one song and be really, really great songs.
Yes.
Because
well, I think that's a really important advice too. Is don't send 10.
Right.
I'll have people send me 10 songs. I can't even sift through 10 to find the one that I might want to listen to. So it's like, just send me one. You know?
Well, the other thing is knowing like I usually meet somebody first. I don't do this on the first time I meet them.
Right.
But I'm meeting people every time I go out. And then maybe the next time how are you? What are you doing? What's going on? And then the next time I see them, the third time I see them, I know what artists that are in their sphere, what they might possibly be looking
You've done
for.
your research.
I do all my research, and then say, hey, you still looking for songs for Cassidy Pope? And people say, sure, here, send me a song. So, and I think it's really the same thing as a songwriter. I mean, as a song plugger, I have a lot more of an advantage, because if I say I'm a song plugger to another to a business person, they know that I'm not going to inundate them. You say
Right.
that as a songwriter,
Then they think they're going to just get buried.
oh my God, they're
Yeah.
going to get buried. So even as a songwriter, if you just follow these little guidelines, just
Yes.
get to know them a little bit and don't let it happen, unfold organically and do your research.
Right.
They're going to respect you because you're not just throwing songs at them.
Well, and the other thing too is, I think a lot of times we forget that, they're just people like we are,
Yeah.
And, the other thing too is you're not going to maybe connect, on the same level with every single person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, some of what you said, it's really funny because I said that was saying that in my open,
Mm-hmm.
do your research, success leaves traces, that kind of thing, I think it's really important to research who you want to do business with, Sometimes you have something in common with them, like we both like to ride horses or, whatever it is,
Yeah, well, it makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference.
I mean, and Bart Herbison, who has certainly been a mentor to me from NSAI, he said, Nancy, this is the way it's going to be. You're going to research every one of these artists on Music Row, major label
Right.
artists, and this is how it's done. You figure out what they need that they don't have,
Right.
and then you try to help them find out about what you have.
And hopefully it's in your arsenal.
Right. And I saw Allison Jones or somebody over at talking about how they were having such a hard time finding X for one of their artists.
Right.
And so I called up Laurel Kittleson, who was over at Big Machine at the time, and left her a message. Says, I'm just swear to God, I have something really great. Can I send it to you? And she called me back and gave me her email.
Yeah.
I knew how hard they were
Yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
this person.
And when when they say they're looking that hard,
Right.
they could find that anywhere. They're not going to, I think, because I had success like that.
with Blake.
Right. I
and,
wasn't some
Austin.
songwriter that, had 5 songs in the top 20 or something at the time. They were looking for something that was really special. And so that's how we got in. Well, tell me a little bit about how you, first of all, came up with the name for your company, Discover Sooner, and tell me a little bit about, what you guys do.
Okay, sure. Okay, so being a songwriter and being a publisher, so to speak, song plugger, I started realizing that the way that publishers meet songwriters is crazy. I mean, you can stay up at bars all night long, making friends over at Winners and Losers, and that is credible, and that is a way to do it. But it's, all of them, it just takes years.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is crazy. We need something that will help songwriters. I mean, you could be ready on day one and have the best songs.
And it'd take you 10 years to find your
10
person.
years.
Right.
And in all honesty, if you come from another town and you come here, your writing is probably not as good as it's going to be 3 years after you get
Right.
here. But
That's
it's still
true.
another 7 years before you
right.
get anywhere.
Right.
So couldn't we find a way to get songwriters in a place where they can meet publishers faster? And so that's why I was like, I created this company called Sooner, and then the only URL that was available was Discover Sooner, so and it seemed like it fit. The software guy I hired says, I know what it needs to be, Discover Sooner.
I
And I'm
like that.
Oh, that's cool. So that is our mission, to help the next generation of songwriters meet publishers and the music professionals that they need a little bit faster. And so I just knew, I just thought I would put together, I'm struggling. A platform that you could do it. I went and had a software developer, and I prayed, and I says, oh God, if I have enough money to make this software development platform, then I know it's a go. And that's how I thought of. And I had enough money. I just had enough money. And then I realized later, you don't have half the money that you need to market this business. And and then the pandemic hit when we launched.
Yeah.
And so I sat on my front porch with one of my favorite songwriters, Leslie Bowe. And we talked about all the programs that are available that help songwriters meet publishers. And we says... And we came up with this idea as a, like part of what we do is you can come on to Discover Sooner, set up your profile, and we put a publisher in front of you each month that you can pitch a song to.
Yeah.
So that's one small thing.
Yeah.
And then we came up with this thing called the publisher writer experience,
Right.
because our biggest issue was you meet somebody one time and that is, you might never see them again.
Right.
And if they're a really great songwriter and a really great publisher, well, can't we get these songwriters in front of publishers, the same publisher, more often?
Yes.
So even if it's a short
Yeah,
meeting.
because as a writer, you're hopefully going to progress. And
Right.
so you want to show that person that you do.
Just like meeting people at events, only making the events happen more often.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this has been really helpful. We now have some songwriters who are writing over Warner Chapel and Black River and all kinds of places because of that.
That's great.
And then recently we added on, okay, not everyone's looking for a publisher, but everybody's music could just about be in TV and film. So we started adding the Sync Challenge. And it's very much a challenge for me, but, we'll see how this ends up going.
That's like the whole new frontier. Sync.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a lot to cover there. I mean, that's like 3 full-time jobs, trying to keep up with all the supervisors, and now with all the outlets for music on all the cable channels. My husband Bill and I we're always looking for something. We'll say we're show orphans, if like we watch a series and it's over and it's like, I miss my show. So we're digging and trying to find a new show to watch, and it's unbelievable, the outlets.
Yeah, there's a ton of music that's needed for all our shows too.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I always ask my guest this, to tell me a stay inspired story. It could be something that happened in your life and your music career, whatever, that really inspired you, that stays with you.
Okay, so there have been a couple of things that got me from where I was from down here to Nashville. And they were additive, right? And they were all the same thing. I was thinking about this. The first time I ever, I'm getting really weird here.
Please get weird. I like weird.
Really. First time I ever stepped into a recording studio, it was like my mom, who had passed away, my mom was there in spirit.
Aww.
And it was like, do more of this. And then
you heard her say that?
Like,
you felt it?
I felt this. Like, you need to be doing more of this. Okay. And then after that, I started coming to Nashville, and I literally was at the Bluebird, and I was like, my father was there in spirit saying, wow, you're going to be sitting in that round. You need to be there. And I was like, okay. And then in June of 2013, I did advanced song camp through NSAI. Mm-hmm. And we were at Douglas Corner, and there was this, like, something started talking to me, and it started saying, do I need to give you a vision for you to know that you're going to be sitting in that writer's round as a hit songwriter, basically, someday? And I was like, well, since you're talking to me, I guess you don't really need to give me a vision wherever this is coming from, right? And then it said, perseverance. You can have this. Don't quit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, this inspires me every day of my life. This is everything that I've, has kept my feet moving forward, were these experiences. Yeah. Knowing something from beyond reached in, touched me, and said, keep moving. And so if you're asking me, so that is what inspires me.
That's really great.
And how to make it through a snowstorm. You keep moving.
That's right.
We never get to know how it's all going to work out. Right. Just like the movie The Shack.
Right.
Where you can see it from up above and you can see that the maze that this person is in.
Yeah.
But we don't really get that upper view. We just have to keep
keep the faith.
Keep the faith and keep marching through this.
I love that what you said though about the snowstorm. I thought you were about to tell me a story about living up north, which I totally get, the snowstorm thing. But that is so true, and that's really beautiful that you heard from your parents that way.
Right, really. And
I
and
always think my mom and dad are up in heaven petitioning for me, you know.
I sent my sister on a mission. She's passed away too, and I just sent her with that mission, and I let them know I'm thinking about them, and I think they're thinking about me.
Yeah.
And this is too hard to do alone. Music is the music business. Yeah, we can all play.
Yeah.
And we can all sing and be together, but having a life where you can make a living in music is
and be happy with that life.
Right.
Yeah.
Is challenging, and it takes a whole, a lot of things have to come together that we are not in control of.
And that's so true. And I really think that, people listening, anybody that's doing anything creative, you have to think about the fact that you have to keep your eye on your own goal, because there's all kinds of people pulling the lever of the lottery machine, of the slot machine in that world with you, and you have to remember that you're not the only one playing the game, but you have to keep on your own path, and you have to enjoy what you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, then maybe there's some other creative thing you should do. That's the way I feel about it.
Thank you. Goodbye. I love you. But there's enough of us here, right?
Right.
I mean, those who are really dedicated and who are just going to hang in there.
Right.
That's us.
Right. It's true. So, I think I know it, but tell me your power word.
I think it's perseverance.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. That's it. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
Like, don't go home. Don't go back. Don't go back to where you're from.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, it's like you were talking about, I couldn't have done this in Pittsburgh. The same thing with me. I couldn't have done that in Poland, Ohio. I mean, I could have had some kind of a music life, but not the one I was dreaming of. And the same with you. You were dreaming of something bigger and something that and there's nothing wrong with those places. Right. They just couldn't deliver that in that way.
In 2010, when I first met you, I couldn't even dream of having written with you.
Aww.
And on this journey, I got to write with you.
And dude, we've written some great ones.
And you're amazing.
Aww,
and I have never dreamed that I would be a song blogger. I never dreamed that I would do Discover Sooner. But and I may do these things, yes, but I will always be a songwriter first and foremost, and there will be nothing that will stop me from that.
That's so great. I love that. I can see in your eyes that it really lights up your heart and gives you a lot of joy. It's really, really great. I'm so happy for you, because I know how hard you work. I mean, I've seen you at a lot of events, and I know that you are really persistent.
Yes.
So that's really
I try
great.
Not to be too much,
No, I think it's great. So now tell me this. I always ask my guests this as well. So, finish this sentence. Today I'm grateful for...
my health, my family, and I think just every beautiful soul that I have met on this journey. It has been spectacular. And I love it. Great. and thank you.
I love that. Well, thanks so much for being with us today, and it seems like we never get enough time to talk, and we should do that more often.
Oh, we'll go lunch. Let's do it.
Let's do all those things. That sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Everybody stick around. We're going to be right back.
You're my Shero, more than a hero, and I look up to you every single day. Every day. My celebration, my inspiration is to be like you, but in my own way. You're my Shero, more than a hero.
I've spent years of self-discovery learning how to live a successful creative life. That's why I created my course, Spark Your Creativity, The Steps to a Successful Creative Journey, to help others discover their own potential. Your creative journey never ends. So why not invest in yourself and sign up for my course today at Kirsti.com. See you on the journey. Hey everybody, thanks for coming back. I want to thank you so much for checking out KIRSTIcast today. A special thank you to my very wonderful friend and guest, Nancy Deckant, Hope you're going to check out Discover Sooner and everything about Nancy if you're interested in songwriting and being published as well. I want to thank Warner Works for hosting us today, Lance Goodman and Wynn Adams for being behind the scenes. Also, Bill Warner, can't forget about him. Hope you're going to check out KIRSTIcast everywhere you stream podcasts and also on my YouTube channel. And if you or somebody else are interested in being a guest on this show, you can email me at info@songwritergirl.com. Hope I'm going to see you next time. And whatever you do, stay inspired. You've been listening to KIRSTIcast.